Previously on Land of the Free.
But ICE wasn't allowing their client to have a bond hearing so he could contest his detention. And the judge gave ICE a week to either give that man a bond hearing or release him.
Oh, snap.
And ICE did neither of those things. They just kept a guy imprisoned with no ability to contest being locked up.
What?
So the judge gave acting ICE Director Todd Lyons a choice: release the guy or come to Minnesota. Literally come to this judge's courtroom this Friday at 1 p.m. and explain in person why the judge shouldn't hold him as the director of ICE in contempt of court. And surprise, surprise, that worked. I mean, today ICE released the guy.
No surrender! No surrender! I'm going to surrender.
Greetings, good people. I hope all is well. I hope all is well with you all. Many of you may know that the Democrats are currently threatening a government shutdown, but some of you may not know that it's not exclusively related to the recent events in Minnesota involving Mr. Pretti and ICE street agents. There are a couple of additional reasons why people on both sides of the aisle are considering not passing additional funds for DHS. Let's check some of them out. Number one, the current budget. The current budget for ICE is already 200% more than it was in 2024. And after the passing of the big beautiful bill, ICE was afforded $75 billion over the next 4 years. Now they're requesting an additional $4.6 billion. Let's see what for. Already, not gonna stay on these screenshots too long. Just want to go over what we were just talking about. All right, these are AI breakdowns of the ICE budget. Like we were saying, the increase from 2024 to 2025 was roughly a 200% increase. All right here, roughly went from around $10 billion a year to around $30 billion a year. And then after the passing of the big beautiful bill, like you can see here, 10 billion. There was a base of around $10 billion plus $75 billion over the next 4 years, like we said, which brought it to roughly around $18 to $19 billion a year. All right, now let's go over here to the breakdown of that $75 billion. Like we were saying, we have $45 billion for detention and capacity. And then we have the $30 billion, which is for enforcement and operations. This is for the boots on the ground, what we're seeing in Minnesota, Chicago, et cetera, et cetera. All right, now let's see what they were requesting for the additional funds for. So you see here, fiscal year 2026 request. The Trump administration proposed fiscal 2026 budget for DHS included a $4.6 billion increase in overall funding. This is what they're fussing about or threatening the shutdown over. This additional $4.6 billion after you saw the money that they were already been awarded. Okay. Of the $4.6 billion, they're saying that they need this money for ICE right here, right? They say that they need $500 million to increase detention capacity. All right. And we saw over here in the breakdown of the $75 billion that they already have allotted, that they already have $45 billion allotted for detention and capacity, but they're saying that they need 500 million more for those items. Speaking of detention centers, this is another sore spot that's been overshadowed by the recent events in Minnesota with Ms. Good and Mr. Pretti. Let's check it out.
Masked immigration agents are snatching people up off the street, many of them with no criminal record at all. Those immigrants are then detained, often without a bond hearing or due process, for indefinite periods of time. And as of this month, ICE says that it has 73,000 people in custody, 73,000. The Trump administration's stated goal is to get that number up to 100,000. So 100,000 people in prisons with as little oversight as possible. That's their goal. Often private for-profit prisons.
Quick pause for a second. Remember that we noted that there is $45 billion already allotted for detention centers. Now they're requesting another $500 million out of the $4.6 billion that they're requesting for DHS additional funding. Now, note that the host said that many of these places were for-profit prisons. Who's profiting off of this? How are they profiting? How are they showing a breakdown of the funds that's already been allotted, how it's been used, and how they need additional funds? These are questions that need to be asked, and I think this is what the Democrats also want to know.
Legally, members of Congress are supposed to be allowed to visit any federal detention center at any time with no notice, so they can perform their oversight duties over the facilities. But repeatedly, we have seen the Trump administration ignore that law and deny members of Congress entry. Last week, California Senators Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff managed to get inside their state's largest immigration detention center anyway. Senator Padilla said that the conditions he saw inside that detention center were inhumane, violating basic standards for access to health care, food, water, and legal counsel. And today, the Department of Homeland Security fired back, saying bluntly that any claims there are inhumane conditions at ICE detention centers are false. And we know how close they are to the truth over there, I'll just say. Okay.
Quick pause here as well. Many may say that jab at the honesty of DHS was probably uncalled for, but when you say that Mr. Pretti was brandishing a weapon and was wanting to inflict maximum damage on ICE agents, and then you see a video showing otherwise, that doesn't help. Or when you say that a detainee was attempting to delete himself and then the county autopsy says otherwise, that doesn't help either.
Joining me now is Democratic Senator Alex Padilla of California. Senator Padilla, can you explain? You were actually in the facility. I don't believe hardly anything that comes out of the Department of Homeland Security at this point. But tell us what you saw, what the facilities were like, what you saw when you were able to get in there.
Sure, Jen, good to be back with you. And for starters, and you hit the nail on the head, this is an administration that doesn't want you to believe what you see with your own eyes. I know what I saw with my own eyes and what I heard with my own ears in talking to many of the detainees. California City, it's the largest detention facility in California, currently housing more than 1,400 detainees, not prisoners, detainees, with a capacity up to 2,500. And so I share those numbers because the problems that we've seen, without being properly addressed, are only going to be exacerbated as the Trump administration aggressively pursues this goal of 100,000 or more. You know, when I visited facilities like this, other ICE facilities or detention centers, correctional facilities even, throughout my public service career, you always expect to hear maybe complaints about food or water. They keep it too cold or too hot in here. But I was shocked at the amount and intensity of the complaints about lack of medical care. Like even detainees, even in prisons, even under conditions of war, there's basic standards that we are supposed to hold and maintain, and that is not happening. And I'm talking about people who maybe came in with chronic conditions and they had their medical history if they were transferred from a different ICE facility that is not being followed up on. People who may be suffering an injury, many who shared that they were injured in the course of being detained. Right? We've seen how aggressive and physical these detentions and arrests are.
So, because of the big beautiful bill, DHS and ICE have been ridiculously well funded over the next 4 years to the tune of $75 billion. And of that amount, $45 billion has already been allocated to detention centers. And from the few oversight visits that have been allowed, very little seems to have been done with the money besides erecting the facilities. Everything else is at a bare minimum to non-existent, including healthcare. Now, once you add deletions in both the facilities and out on the streets, it's hard to justify an additional $4.6 billion. But engage and let me know what you guys think. Until next time, peace and stay informed.